Hi, my name is Carrie. I'm at the Mitchell Salon Day Spa in Westchester, and today I'm going to show you a little different variation of a smoky eye. I know some people like to kind of keep the darker color kind of on the outside and fade it inward, but with my eyes I have one that's a little bit more hooded, a little lower than the other one. So I'm just going to show you a different way to do that so you don't feel like when you open your eyes you lose all the hard work that you've done. So I'm going to do a little different today and use just some different colors instead of just your typical blacks and grays and kind of neutrally colors. So what I'm going to start with is just our canvas. It's an eyelid primer. It's going to help to hold your eyeshadow in place, make it appear a bit truer, and keep it from creasing. So you just need to put a tiny bit on. You can use your finger or a brush, however you'd prefer. But just a little bit to cover the lid and just kind of blend it in with your finger. And you can take it up as high as what you need to. And instead of putting a light shade all over the lid then and going back in with your darker color, I'm actually going to start with the darkest color first. And you are going to keep this close to your lash line. And you always want to kind of tap off your brush so that you don't get a bunch of shadow falling down on your face. So just kind of keep it below the socket so that when you open, it's not looking funny. And just keep pressing it on. The more you press it, the darker the color is going to be. If you sweep it back and forth, it's going to shear it out, and it can tend to pull your eyeshadow all over the place. You just have to be careful. A flat brush works the best for this, something that's skinny and flat that you can really press down on there. And don't worry if it doesn't look good right away. That's what blending is for. So to blend, you're going to take a fluffier brush, usually called a crease brush or a blending brush, and just kind of go in and smooth down any harsh lines that you may have. You may have heard of the windshield wiper motions, which can work, but you kind of want to do shorter motions in there as well, just to make sure you get everything properly. And if it gets lighter on you, just go back in. And one way to keep it true and vibrant all day long is just to keep applying it and blending it. And that way you get that smooth color all over the lid and you don't have to worry about it disappearing on you halfway through the day. So now that you kind of have that blended, so you don't have too many harsh lines in there, you're going to want to go in with a color that's close to your skin tone. And for me, it's kind of just a light brown, kind of just a neutrally skin tone shade. And that is going to go kind of right above where you blended out the darker color. And that just kind of makes sure that you're not going to have that dark line there. So that when you open it just looks soft. You don't really want to see where one color starts and stops. Now if you're like me and you have a lid that falls a little bit, the last thing you want to do is add more emphasis to that. You kind of want it to recede back, which is why you use the darker colors. So instead of using a shimmery highlight color, I'm actually just going to use my foundation powder and go as a highlight underneath my brow, just to really make sure that it's all blended and nice and soft, and you don't have to worry about it catching the light funny and making your eyes look puffier than what they already are. So once you have your shadow done, then you can go in with your liner, depending on how dramatic you want this to be, but you don't want to see a whole lot of white space in between your lashes. So you can actually go in and just very gently lift up and go right at the base of your lashes with some liner. Black usually works best because most people wear black mascara. So that's going to blend everything for you. And it just kind of gives you the illusion of thicker lashes without having to put some on. Now if you have bigger eyes, you can get away with doing the bottom waterline as well. If your eyes are really narrow, probably don't want to do that, only because it's going to make them appear smaller. I'm going to go ahead and show you how to line your waterline, and that's what that part is, right at the base of your lashes. And you're going to want to bring it all the way into that tear duct. And just kind of blend it. And we're going to put some powder under there as well, just to really make sure that it gets nice and smoky for you. So for that, you're just going to want to use a little smaller of a brush, kind of a detail brush that you can really get in right at those lashes. And you get a more smoky or smoldery effect if you use a powder instead of a pencil underneath your eye for this. So you just go right in And just kind of press it in there, getting as close as what you possibly can. And if you feel like you get a little powder in your eye, just blink a couple times, it goes away. And you kind of want to connect it to where your darkness stopped up here. Now if you want to, then you can go through with liner on the top as well. If you don't want to, you don't have to. It's already a bit smoldery as it is. But you definitely want to make sure, because you always want your eyes to pull up, that you're going to clean up any mess that may have fallen before you start messing around with your mascara. So I'm just going to go in with my foundation powder again and a little handy brush and just kind of sweep it up and out, just so that you can almost reshape it if you need to. And if you have a problem with a lot of fallout, you may want to do your eyeshadow before you even do your foundation, and that way you can clean up any mess without having to redo everything. So I'm just going to kind of leave it as is, but you always want to go in with a lot of coats of mascara. So I'm just going to go through, do a nice healthy dose. And if you want something even more dramatic, you can always go through and apply false lashes if you want to. If your eyes do tend to be heavy on top with your lids, your lashes are going to be really important, because sometimes, depending on how heavy they are, that may be all you can see when you open your eyes. So you want your lashes to be nice and pretty and flirty, as full as what you can make them. And I used kind of a wine color eyeshadow in mine today because I do have hazel eyes, so it's going to bring out the green. So you can really kind of go through with whatever colors you want, but if you get something that's going to kind of complement your eye tone, then it's going to even do more work for you without you having to spend a lot of extra time on your eyeshadow. And then for the smoky eye, typically you want to kind of keep everything else soft and neutral, so kind of go through with a little bit of a blush, just something, you know, kind of close to your skin, just for some contouring, but you don't have to go crazy because you want your eyes to be the focus. Just kind of right on your cheekbones, just something soft. And if you're bold, you can go with a brighter lip. Bright pink is a very big trend for the spring runway this year, or you can kind of go with your normal, you know, pretty safe route and just go with a nice soft lip. So I'm just going to kind of apply a little soft lip gloss to really tie everything together.
Okay, so right now, if you go to the lowest level of everyone, it's 419. And that's not doing this package pricing. That's just looking at the lowest level.
And you're done.